Happy to have you guys here. Still uploading up. I'm watching my other screen, see if it's working, Dan. But I think we're all good. We're live. Welcome, everybody.
Excited to be here, guys. Welcome back for another week of this. Get your guys' questions in the chat. We're going to go over a bunch of stuff today. Excited to get into it.
Just give me a second. All right.
Trying to pull it up as well.
All right, guys. If you guys don't mind, in the chat, you can put any questions you have for us. You can put any deals you want us to review. That would be great. Also, if you guys don't mind in the chat, letting us know where you're from, where you're watching us from. Let us know your land investing experience, your land flipping experience, how many times you've come here. I'd love to know a little more about who we have in the call.
Absolutely. Let's get it rolling, guys. Get it in there. Excited to get started here. Perfect. Let people trickle in here.
We're going to give it a minute, guys. Like I said, in the top right of there. Just give me 1 minute, Dan. We'll get started. Get your questions in the chat if you guys don't mind.
Josh Allen asked if we're live for real. Yes, we're live, Josh.
Yeah.
Ready to go here.
I was double checking the text went out. We had text notifications go out. I was making sure that those actually went out. Yeah, Josh, we're live.
We're live. So, guys, get your questions in there. Let us know what's your background. Like, you guys in land investing, you guys getting started, or you're just here to learn some more about land investing, land flipping, how to make more money, all the stuff of that type.
Yeah, exactly. I think it just those messages, those notifications just hit. So we should have people trickling in now. Like Daniel said, let us know your experience level. All right. The K factor. I want to get my first deal in 30 days. Is that realistic? Sending out 3 to 4,000 pieces. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. Definitely. Like, you're not going to flip it all the way through. I do not think you're going to go all the way through the process in 30 days. That being said, you can definitely get a deal, own a property, have a good amount of equity. You could have $50,000 of equity in a land deal within 30 days, no problem. Sending 3 to 4,000 pieces. I mean, we see deals every 22 to 2,500 mailers. It depends on the deal. It depends on the area. But that is what we see. If you're doing things the right way, I don't know if you're a member or not. If you're doing things the right way, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to getting a deal under contract in 30 days, we built a program out for get your first deal in 30 days because not because we just wanted to market it like that. It was simply because we were having people come after 21 days, 25 days, 28 days, 20 days over and over again with their first deal. And we were like, didn't you guys just join? And they bring these deals to the call for us to go over. And then we're like, okay, for these people who want to take action now, let's build this out. So getting a deal in 30 days, very, very realistic if you attack it straight from day one for sure.
Absolutely. I'm going to say it one more time, guys. If you guys are just joining, because we did have quite a few people that just popped in, let us know in the chat your experience level. I also want to hear questions. Like, questions are a really good thing. And that's what we're here for, to answer any questions you guys have about land investing. 1.5 year experience. Awesome. From Orlando. Cool. And then if you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button right below. Josh Allen asked, what is the best way to find land with mobile homes already on it? So it's not a difficult thing to do. It's just you need a reliable data source. There are data sources that do this specifically. We use DataTree, and there's filters. Like, there's literally a mobile home filter. Is it going to be 100% accurate? No, but it's accurate more times than not. It does take some time, but it's all about the data source, Josh.
Yeah, exactly. And you can really, once you have your data source and you figure that all out, you can target any specific properties with whatever criteria you want. Mobile homes is a really, really neat industry. I love them. They're desirable. People like mobile home lots in general, even if they don't. We buy land with mobile homes on it quite a bit, just naturally, because the county didn't report it as having a structure on it. So we'll send mail to land, and the land happens to have mobile homes on it, and we'll go through the deal. They're desirable for sure. We always sell mobile home lots very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Good question. All right, Dylan. In the process of getting my real estate license to do my own investing deals and land deals, good idea. Any best practices? There's advantages to being an agent or a broker, whatever you want to say. But that being said, there's also a lot of legalities that you need to be careful with. And then that other people know better than me. I'm sure I know Dylan, and I know you remember, there's people in our program who are realtors at all as well. So talking to them, making sure you're doing things correctly, legally, abiding by the real estate board or whatever that's called. That's what I kind of urge you to do. What about
Yeah,
benefits, Dan? Just MLS?
well, no, the people in our community who are also realtors aren't doing it for their land deals. They're typically just realtors who want extra money and they started investing. And a lot of them were like, I remember Nate said he's skeptical. I think it was Nate. I can't remember who it was. Said he was skeptical he didn't want to break any of I don't want to say laws, whatever the requirements were. So he was going all out of state for his land deals. But if you do it in your own area, you do have to be careful. The pros would be the MLS. Like you have instant access to the MLS feed. Do you need it? Is it a big advantage? No, I don't think it is at all, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe talking to people on the phone and saying you're a broker, maybe for like a trust aspect potentially, but even that, I don't think it's a huge benefit.
Welcome, Adrian. Awesome. A lot of new people here. We'll get to a deal here in a minute to go over. I just want to get some of these questions. 2 Action Academy guys, right? Alex and Dylan, you guys both from Brian.
Yeah, and you can pull us up on the full screen if you want, but go over that question.
Yeah, you're right. Let's do that. See if it does that automatically. All right. What's up, guys? Second week in the program, getting ready to begin mailing process in real estate for 5 years. The first time investing in land in acres. Looking forward to some deals. Oh, awesome. I thought there was a question there, Alex. Happy to have you in here. I was waiting.
Nice. Welcome. Yeah, you'll get some deals soon. Attack it, get out your marketing, and you'll have some good leads coming in. Get something under contract, make some money quick.
Chris P. Okay? Chris P's from the east side, Dan.
Chris P. Yeah, I talked to Chris. Yeah. I think I talked to Chris. Watching from Cincy. Very cool. Oh, was it you?
I don't know.
Oklahoma. Yeah, welcome in, Adrian. Dana Keel here. Welcome, Dana. How much money do you need to set aside for mailers for your first mailing? So if you're going the mail route and you want about let's say 2,000 mailers, that's around $1,400 just for mail. If it's 1,500, then it's going to be what, $900 or so. It's 65 cents on average per envelope, per piece of mail. And that gets you, with what we do, that gets you 2 pieces of paper. That gets you the first page, second page, and the letter. Then it also gets you an envelope and it gets you a stamp. And that's 65 cents. Obviously, depending on your budget, mail is the most efficient, but there are other alternatives for acquiring things in a cheaper way, such as text and cold calling. It's not as efficient. We say that every week. It's not as efficient. There are pros and cons to both. Mail is extremely, extremely efficient in this business, but there are other ways to grind a deal if you had a lower budget, for sure. You got to just think of it like, just how do you contact vacant landowners? And that's just work backwards from there. Any way you can do that can work. I mean, this is just a marketing game.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into a deal real fast. Good questions, guys. So I am on id.land. You can still see, correct, Dan?
Yes, we're good to go.
All right, we're going to Twiggs County, Georgia. Twiggs County, Georgia. And then let me see. APM.
Brian M. Soldier Boy, Brian M. Welcome in. We're going to pull up a deal here, guys. This is id.land. While Ron's pulling this up, I'll explain it. Most of you guys know this. If you've been here, if this is your first time, this is how we evaluate land from a satellite point of view. We can look at things like slope, wetlands, FEMA flood zones, who owns the property, boundary parcel size. You can look up a bunch of different data here and get a good feel for the land. You can see the road frontage, the neighbors, all the information. This is like our initial due diligence check. When we get land in, we look at it this way. We pretty much rate the property, A through F is what we do kind of in our heads. And then we come up with a plan. We look at the price, we rate the price, and then we give you guys next steps.
Absolutely. All right. We have 3.79 acres. We're in Twiggs County, Georgia. Looks like the purchase price that the seller agreed to was $6,900. And they're trying to see, this is a member that brought this deal to us. They're trying to see if it's a good deal. It makes sense to do it. For us, when we're buying something for $6,900, like how I think about this, I want to double my money, especially on these smaller deals. you're going to have in Georgia about $1,100 to $1,200 of closing costs, give or take. So that's going to put us all in, let's just say $8,000. I would want this to sell for 20,000. I think, Dan, is kind of my target on something like this. You can buy cheaper or sell cheaper, and maybe you sell for 16 and the deal works out. But just from our perspective on these smaller ones, we try to a little 2x our money, or at least, if not, make a little more.
Exactly. And just looking at this property, it's A+ land. You got good road frontage. You got neighbors on both sides, neighbors across the street, fairly built
You have
out.
some slope here at the front, Dan.
You got a little bit of slope there that we're going to evaluate further, but there's mobile homes down the road, which is a good sign for low restrictions. What are those, Ron? They're those 10 or
these are
20
10-foot lines. So yeah, these aren't a big issue. These are 10-foot lines. It might drop off a little bit from the road, but you can see what we do when we're evaluating slope is look at neighboring properties. And most of these properties are on the same slope. Like this property is not more slope than anything. You do want to get boots on the ground to confirm it's not worse than what it looks. But I'm not really concerned about the slope, Dan, at all.
No, if those were 20-foot lines, maybe, but yeah, pretty much. So between each of those red or yellow lines is 10 feet, and it's going down or hill or uphill. Downhill, I assume.
Down.
It's going downhill, then it meets the creek. That makes sense. So it's a little valley. So
Yep.
every time between those yellow lines, it's 10 feet to the next yellow line, then another 10. So naturally, the more spaced out the lines are, the less slope it is. The tighter together, the more it is. And you can check these. We don't 100% rely on these lines. We look at them also through Google Earth. They have an elevation. We have a video on that, an elevation profile tool to see the slope. And then also when you get your drone pictures or use a realtor on the south side before you close title, you just want eyes on that. We use droners.io for that, and we get really good pictures to verify everything.
Absolutely. All right. Everything else checks out. Like this land is good land. We just need to check on the price. Like I said, $6,900. They're going to be all in for about 8,000. We're in Twiggs County, Georgia, which is a little south of Macon. Not a huge attraction there. Warner Robins down here, which is a little better city, I think, than Macon personally. But we're on this side, so we want to find comps in that area. Counties are big, so if we just pull up a county, it can be a little deceiving. You got to get a little more precise than just pulling up the county and seeing comps within the entire county. We want to see. It's a new computer, so it's asking me these basic questions. I've never been on Zillow on here yet. All right, cool. So let's get our filters here. I'm going to go first, obviously, go to land. So deselect all, select lots. And I'm going to go for 3.79 acres. I don't really care about anything under 3 acres. I don't really care about anything over like 6 acres. Zillow, you can't get that specific. I'm going to do 2 to 10.
Yeah. And we use Zillow a ton. Going back to the MLS question, like you can get a lot of free in, standard states that aren't non-disclosure states. You can get a lot of data sold and for sale off these sites. Other MLS feed sites like Redfin, Realtor.com. A lot of people use Land.com or LandWatch and Land and Farm. We don't use that as much. We like Zillow and Redfin are our main sources.
Yeah. So right now I'm just looking at for sale. Not much really to go off of here, Dan. I don't know if you're seeing anything different, but really it's just, just not much for sale, which is a good thing. Like we don't have much competition. We do have this that has been sitting on the market for 2 years almost. I'm not really concerned about that. Let's go to sold, see what's sold. All right, so that's the same acreage. That's cheap, obviously. I think that's under market value. 5.31 for 26, 3.9 for 18. This seems like a pretty solid comp, Dan. And we're getting it so cheap, guys. This deal is not going to be that hard to evaluate because we're not buying it for $10,000. And I think the price is going to make sense. I think this is going to be around your sale price on this, to be 100% honest, Dan. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and see what else we can get.
Yeah, I mean, from knowing this area, this is going to sell. I think 18 to 22. I think you might be surprised on this.
This is a really good deal. Either way, it's good land. It's going to sell fast. Don't overprice it and try to force the issue too much. Price it for a good amount, I think, and you'll be fine. And you'll make, I don't know, $12,000, like Dan said. Yeah, Josh, this recording's posted.
Should sell quick too in this area.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have no issues with this. All right, cool. Really good first deal. If you guys have other deals you want to send, obviously send them our way. Fix that.
We got some questions we can start busting through. We got Dana Keels. You want to pull up Dana's?
How long? What time you got there, Dan, on that?
Doesn't show me a time. But anyway, she said any new improved resources for pooling list. Someone recommended direct skip for property data in addition to skip tracing. We don't use direct skip for skip tracing. We have tested out recently. We've looked at a lot of different sources for data.
We don't use it for data. We use it for skip tracing.
Yes, correct. We don't use it for data. We do use direct skip for skip tracing. They're very solid with that. The one thing you got to keep in mind when pooling your list for mail is if you're going to split up your pricing and do different things, a lot of these sources don't have latitude and longitude, and they don't have all the data points that you get with DataTree. We've tested out in the last month. I've talked to probably 3 or 4 different companies and gotten lists from them and looked for connections and partnership opportunities. But at the end of the day, DataTree is a little bit more expensive, but at the same time, the quality of data is very, very solid. You get every piece of information you need to know. It seems to be very accurate, latitude, longitude, so you can plot it on a map and split up your county pricing. Things like that is really reliable. We've stuck with DataTree up to this point.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, DataTree is good. And it's something like, it's not something we're pushing for it. Like we're pushing it because it's the best data that we've seen. From Max, guys, it would be great to hear your approach to sellers that decline your offers because they decide to go direct to the market after some conversations back and forth with you. I think this is, you need to get a contract with them. Like that first phone call with them, you should not. And I know, because we're doing a deal together with you, Max, like, don't worry about funding. Don't worry about anything else. If the price makes sense, get a contract on that first day. That's the best thing. Tell them you can close, assure them of the situation, and then do your due diligence the 24 hours after. Try to connect with a funder after that. You got to move fast with these people because that's what they want. That's the advantage of what we're doing in this business is speed, quick to getting them money. We have cash and you can go fast. If things get stalled out too much, there's not as much advantage in what we do.
Exactly. You got to be, and that's why deals fall through a lot of times during title, when the seller backs out, a lot of times because of speed as well, and assuring them it's a sales game at the end of the day. You want to keep them assured that it's closing soon. You want to keep them locked in as long as possible. You want to get it to title as quick as possible and move the process forward. That's how this works. Another option that you could negotiate is potentially double closing. We've done some of those, or our members have done some of those lately. If they just want a little bit more money, you can negotiate up with them. I wouldn't suggest that doing that first, but you can get it under contract, then wholesale it to get them more money. Essentially, it's more operations. There's pros and cons to it, but it's less risk, and it's a way to give them more money, but it's not going to close in 2 weeks. So you lose a lot of your value.
Mm-hmm. Bergen County asked any states you recommend for newbies to maybe avoid since there's more hurdles to close or resell. I think the most common one we talk about, Dan, is Florida. Not because the hurdle is there's a lot of bad land in Florida. There's a lot of wetlands in Florida. There's a lot of swamps in Florida. If you send 5,000 mailers in Florida, mid, central, or southern Florida, there's a good chance 2,500 of them are going to be in wetlands or floodplain, and they're not going to work out no matter what the price is. If you go more North Florida, you'll be fine. But we say central and southern Florida for sure.
Yeah. Also, some of the more sloped regions out west, non-disclosure states, I don't say to avoid. It's harder your first mailer if you're sending out to non-disclosure, especially for blind offer. It's just hard to get prices and pricing correct on non-disclosure states because obviously the data is hidden. You don't see the sale price. But what you can look at in non-disclosure states are when it was listed for sale and then when it went pending. So if it was listed for sale for $100,000, went pending in 3 days, it probably sold around asking price. It was priced right, it flew off the market, and vice versa. If it was listed for $100,000 and sat for 5 months with very little traction, then went pending, someone came in probably low, and you kind of just have to do a educated guess in that fashion. But non-disclosure states have a lot of opportunities.
Paul asked, I have a seller who wants to sell 10 acres that is currently being leased to a farmer until late fall. Other than the lease issue, I think this is a good deal. How problematic is leased land? This is a good situation, honestly, Dan. Like, the land is going to it should be kept pretty well. The issue is obviously that lease, and it's going to be difficult to sell before that lease is up.
But we're in fall.
Yeah, that's what he said, late fall. So yeah, even if it's
by the time you get through title and do everything,
if the land, you want to talk to the owner, you probably want to talk to an attorney and make sure you get something, like make sure that lease is not signed again, because that will be an issue. But if like you have word probably from the person who's farming it as well, that like they're done after this term, I would just tell them like, I'm buying this property, just want to confirm that your lease is up. I would try to get in touch with them. But yeah, I mean, it's already October.
And yeah, I'm curious to see the terms on these leases. I really am interested in farming leases right now. It's interesting, but you also have the opportunity when you do put that for sale. There's a lot of investors out there for farmland, and they want to lease it to farmers. So there's also that opportunity as well to sell it to an investor that just wants to hold the land and lease it to farmers and sit back and collect a monthly cash flow.
Yeah. Lee asked, how many letters are you guys sending out to get a deal? Just wondering if response rates and close rates differ from residential real estate. I don't know as much about residential real estate and relating. We get a deal for about every 22 to 2,500 mailers on average at scale. Like we send a lot of mail out. Our members send a lot of mail out, but it's about 22 to 2,500 mailers.
Yeah. And Dana said that farmer could be your buyer also to Paul. Paul, message me if you're in our Discord, send me a direct message. I want to see that deal and how that lease is structured if you don't mind.
Yeah. All right. Let me scroll down here. I saw another investor suggest finding cash buyers in the area first before reaching out to sellers. Said it was important to do it in reverse to how you would in single family houses. Thoughts? No, I disagree. You don't need to do that. You have to worry about the deal. When doing this business, it's all about the deal, and it's all about evaluating deals. So if you have the ability to evaluate a deal when you have sellers coming in, market value is 40,000. Okay, I can offer 20. I might be able to go up to 22. It's all about the deal. You don't need to worry about the end buyer.
They're talking about wholesaling. So what we're doing, the difference, Benji, on this is we're buying the land in our name. We're not wholesaling the deal. We're buying it in our name using deal funding money. So we're not going to use, there's plenty of money in the group, in different land groups, whatever, to buy the deal, put it in your own name and split the profits. What they're talking about is if you're wholesaling a deal and you get something under contract, you already have a builder or an investor in the area that's buying up these small lots and putting houses on it. Then you have those contact lists. So right when you get something under contract, you can send it to them and then make a $5,000 assignment fee. We're buying this using deal funding monies. Our average numbers are like buy for 30, sell for 65. And the numbers are just bigger at this level, I think. I'm not a huge fan on that strategy. One, because the building market is really shrinking right now and interest rates are high and it's just not a builder's market at this time. And two, margins, the way with buying it yourself, sending out mail, buying it, and then putting it up on the MLS because it's in my name now. I can put it up on the MLS. I can sell it to the public. I can put it on all the sites, do everything I need to sell it, and then get market value. Instead of selling it to an investor for 80%, we can buy it in our own name and put it for max value also. We do wholesale a little bit, but that's for different situations I won't get into right now.
Yeah. Alan asks, how can I join this group? I'll need funding. I'm new to this. If you're looking for the paid course, that is landinvestingonline.com/launch. And that gets you all the material that we have. Max asked, how different is your comp research with commercial parcels? Really good question. There's a lot of money to be made in commercial land.
It's hard.
It's difficult because especially if you're more urban, it's easier to get comps. But if you go rural and like you're getting like these little industrial pockets, it's difficult to find comps. LoopNet is good. You need realtors involved though when you're doing commercial acreage in rural America. And it's hard to trust that. Like it's really difficult. You need the deal to look very good. Usually you can tell if something sounds too tight, it's probably too tight in commercial real estate. If it looks like this is a killer deal, I can sell this easily. Then it's probably good, or it is good.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's really, really hard to evaluate commercial properties if you don't have inside information from like brokers. A lot of brokers might come to you and be like, oh, I have a couple of people in mind who might be interested in this actually. And they'll have a good feel for the area. They'll be able to talk to people. You need a really good commercial broker, but that is hard to do in rural America. So in cities, getting those commercial prices much, much easier.
Yeah, for sure. Really good question. No problem, Benji. All right. Just going back up. Yeah, this recording is posted after. If you guys don't mind, we have about 5 minutes left. If you guys have not already, hit the subscribe button right below the video. It should be right below Dan or myself. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We do have videos come out 3-4 times a week typically. Josh asked, can I do cash only deals or would I be forced to get a checking account and be reported by the bank to the IRS? I mean, you're not gonna be able to buy, you can't buy real
Yeah.
estate with cash unless you're not going through a title search.
It would have to be
If
directly with the seller, right? It would have to be directly with the seller with no title company, and then you just record the deed yourself.
and someone's going to find out that you own real estate and the IRS is going to come for you. You're not going to be able to buy real estate and hide it from the IRS.
They're serious about that, especially like because they're protecting right now. They have a bunch of laws in place trying to protect U.S. people from foreign people buying land, and they want to protect the. There's a lot of taxes on foreign properties. They're cracking down on this a lot, so I would not recommend doing that. And
Yeah.
yes, text the 30-day launch is the full course. Do you guys want to hear about deal funding? I know I said it a few times. Is anyone interested in how that works, or do you guys already know
A lot
how
of
it works?
wholesalers come in. I think it's a good topic because like a lot of people come in, Dan, with $2,000 or something or
Let us know in the
$3,000.
comments if you guys want to hear us rant about deal funding and how it works. How do you get $50,000 when you don't have $50,000? You have a deal, you have a purchase agreement for 50,000, it's going to sell for 110. Those are very, very normal margins in this business. How do you get a payment for it? How can you get that money? And we personally, when we started, we raised money outside too, Ron. We didn't use any of our own money for a long, long time. Everyone's saying yes. All right, perfect. So you can start, Ron.
You brought up the topic that I got. Yeah. So to break it down kind of from the beginning, like you guys come into our program, whatever it is, you guys come in, try to attack the business how we do, which is buying land and selling land. We're not wholesaling land for the most part. You come in with a couple $1,000s of marketing money and you get a deal. Like, let's say you get a deal. We talked earlier about in 30 days, we've had people come in and get $200,000 deals, their first deal. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I'm under contract to buy this deal for 190. I know it's worth 400.
What was
So
Max's size? MLM Bros in here. What was his size?
yeah,
deal?
Max's was a buy for 107, sell for like 220 his first deal, something like that. So like, and it's like you need the money. Like I need $107,000. I have a killer deal. That's where the community comes in, Dan. And deal funding is you get someone else to be willing to put up 100% of the purchase price. You're going to own the property. You're going to have full control of property. And then you sell it. You would be responsible for selling the property and there would be a profit split on the back end.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking, I was looking at something. I was, I was thinking before, like so this is the cycle of land investing. You come in, you try to get your first deal. You might have 5-10 grand. I don't know. Some of you might have a lot of money. Some of you might be not have as much money. Doesn't matter either way. Your first thing needs to be to get your first deal. So you get your first deal, you have $5,000, you send out the mail, you get the deal, you get a deal under contract, say it's buy for 30, sell for 65. You buy and sell that property using deal funders money. So you take that, you send it to Ron and I, or whoever your deal funder is. Ron and I, 90% of our business is deal funding now, 80% of our business, we do a lot of it. So you send it to us or send it to someone else. We'll evaluate the deal. We underwrite it and we're like, okay, we're good with this deal. Let's get it rolling. You send it to title, you manage title. When it's time to wire money, you send us the wiring instructions. We send the money straight to title. We review the documents, make sure everything looks good and everyone's protected. And then we close it. You sell the property and then we come up with a profit split. So if it's buy for 30, sell for $65,000, you'll split that $35,000 some way. It's usually 60-40, 25-75 in favor of the person who found the deal, 50-50. It just depends on the deal and the length it takes to sell. And then what happens, Ron, is, and I know we only have a couple more minutes and we got to go to the member call, and then what happens, you do this a few times and then all of a sudden you have $20,000, $40,000, $80,000, $150,000, you have money in your bank. So you start paying for your own deals. And then the next thing that happens is you can start funding other people's deals. That's kind of the cycle of how it works, because then you have money, the land industry so well, you have money, you have extra money, and you're like, how can I put my money to more use with what I'm doing? Oh, I can fund newer people's deals. I can fund other people's deals, things like that. And that's why everyone always asks, how do you guys have so much money in the land community? And it's because it's very lucrative. There's so much money in circulation. People are buying and selling properties constantly, building their wealth up, and then they want to put their money to use. We know land so well. There's no risk on you. There's no credit checks. There's no loan, no mortgage. We know land so well. We can evaluate that deal and be like, we want to buy this deal. We're good with this. Let's send it to title. So that's how it works.
Yeah, like the deals we're funding right now, we're buying a $400,000 deal with a member, we're buying a $250,000 deal. We just bought 250. Like all of these are buying for 150, selling for 350, and like there are just so many of these deals out there. If you're interested in getting in this business model, how we do it, you need to find a way to save up $5,000 for marketing, for education, and then go. Like, do not worry about saving $20,000 so you can buy your first deal. I would not go the wholesaling route at first. Like, there are times when you can do it, but if you're just trying to do that, it's really hard to stack up money if you have a $3,000 assignment fee once a month, once every 2 months, whatever it is, opposed to doing one deal, buy for 150, sell for 300, split the profit. That's $75,000 with no money out of your pocket.
Yeah, and Steve's in here. Steve Hodgden is in here, and he funds deals. That's all Steve does. He just put Apke National Bank in there. He funds a lot more deals than we fund. It sounds like, Ron. But so there's a lot of people in the community. No, he does. He funds a ton. So there's a lot of people in the community. You find a good deal, tell them, Steve. If they find a good deal, they're going to be able to find money. And Steve knows that. All the deal funders out there know that. So
yeah.
Other than that, guys, if you could please subscribe to our YouTube channel. The button's right below here. Click subscribe if you're not already. That's the only thing we ask in this. We're just trying to give as much value as possible so you guys can get your first deal or your second deal or whatever and create more freedom in your life.
Yep. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much. Like I said, this will be recorded. If you guys need anything from us, feel free to reach out on Discord. Have a good day. And we do have a Friday Q&A on Friday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for joining. We'll see you Friday.
Thanks, everyone.